Hello, and welcome to my new YouTube channel, Jessica's Library Card. I am Jessica, and I am so excited to be here and be able to talk about books with all of you lovely bookish people. So for my first video, I have decided that I am going to do the Booktube Newbie tag. So let's get started. Question 1. Why did you start this channel? Well, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about the books that I read, and I do not have a ton of people in my real life who read books, or who at least read the exact books that I do. My boyfriend reads, and we certainly read a lot of the same things and talk about those books together, but I'm sure that he would like for me to have someone else to talk to about books sometimes. And I would love to just meet people from around the world and be able to talk about books because reading is one of my favorite hobbies. Next question. What are you most excited about for your channel? Well, I am super excited to be able to meet and have a conversation with other people about books because that is something that I am missing so much in my life. I'm also excited to have a creative outlet. I am somebody who is a musician, but I no longer do that for a full-time job. So the job that I have right now is not a super creative job. So certainly I think having a little bit of an outlet for the creative things that I would like to do and talk about is something that I definitely would love to see this channel give me. Why do you love reading? I love reading because reading exposes you to places and viewpoints that you would not necessarily be exposed to otherwise. I feel like I have learned so much in my life from the books that I have read. I feel like I have learned more about the world and imagined worlds and all of the possibilities that exist just from opening up a book. I've read my whole life. And it's something that I love so much, and I'm so excited to be here and share that. What book series got you into reading? So I have loved reading my whole life, but specifically, if we're talking about a book series, for me, it was definitely the Nancy Drew books. I'm sure a lot of people have a similar story who are about my age that my grandma actually bought me the entire set of the original Yellow Spine Nancy Drew books when I was very little, way too young to read them. And I remember that she would read them to me, and I just thought, oh, I cannot wait until I am big enough to be able to read these for myself. And when I could, then I read the entire series. And I remember after that, we started going to the library every week, and I checked out as many books as they would let me check out. And it just opened up a whole new world to me. And I would not be who I am today without the books that I have read in my life. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I think that I would probably ask them about the technical aspects of booktubing because certainly I am not somebody who is great with video production. So I would love advice on the best way to edit videos, what you're using in your videos. I've watched a bunch of videos about that already, but certainly that is some advice that I would definitely welcome. What challenges will be the hardest with Booktube? So for me, I think it's going to be time. I live right now in the Midwest, and it starts getting dark this time of year at about 4 p.m. So I don't feel like there's a lot of daylight for me to be able to film videos. And then editing, of course, takes time too. And I have a regular 9-to-5 job, and I do music gigs on the weekends. So I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to find the time to do this. And I'm excited to make the time for this in my everyday life and see where it takes me. When did you start reading? I think I was probably about 5 years old when I learned to read. I remember that when I started first grade, I already knew how to read. Because my grandma, she was a first grade teacher and she was retired, and she taught me to read as soon as she could. And that was something that we really had together as a bonding experience, that we both loved reading and books so much. Where do you read? So I read 99% of my books on my Kindle. I never thought that I would be somebody who reads all of her books on a screen, but when I got my first Paperwhite, it really transformed my reading life. I don't have to carry a book with me when I go places. I can read wherever I want. I can read when I get ready in the morning. I can read on my lunch break at work. I can read whenever I have a spare minute so that I can get through a lot more books than I would be able to if I had to carry a hardback around with me all the time. It also saves me money. I use my library. I love my library. I have library cards to every library in my area that will let me have one. And I just love to try things out from them without having to commit my income to buying books that I might or might not like. And once I know I like a book, then I can purchase the book to support that author. But most of my books I'm reading from my library using Libby on my Kindle. What kind of books do you read? So I read mostly science fiction and fantasy, sometimes mystery, sometimes a romance if I'm in the mood for a romance. I don't read a lot of nonfiction. I probably read maybe 3 or 4 nonfiction books last year, all on audiobook, because I find those a little bit harder for me to get into sometimes. But science fiction and fantasy, anything that gives me a world to explore that is different from our own, that makes me think about our world and how it might be different, those are the books that I definitely love more than anything else. All right, and that is all of the questions. So I hope you were able to learn a little bit more about me and what I might bring to Booktube. And if you liked what you saw, go ahead and subscribe for more content. I do plan to do at least monthly wrap-up videos. I plan to post reviews. I plan to do some fun games and roundups and lists and things like that. So I hope that you will stick around, and I hope that you have a great day. Bye.